Hello, everybody. It's Bill, the college football guy, here with another video. We're talking about the stories of Week 11. I went a little more in depth this. We got quite a few games to get into here. I actually wrote my notes kind of out of order, so we're going to be jumping between pages here. Let's get the housekeeping out the way first. First, thanks everybody for watching the videos. I really appreciate all of you. If you like the video, hit me the thumbs up. Hit the like button. I would appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you like. As I said, check out this video if you like it. Check out some of the others. If you like them, hey, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. We're just past 1K, on the road to 2K to make it happen. We'll get into the comments at the end of the video. But like I said, if you like the picks here, I want you to hear my picks. But the story here, my picks of the 4 games, because we had a tie in the polls. And you let me know what you think about it down in the comments. So first off, we're going to go through all these games. We got a bunch. Start off with UTSA at South Florida. South Florida, they can't afford a loss in this game. They can't afford one. For some of these games, UTSA pulled off a huge win, but UTSA at home, they're never lost since they've joined the American. They've never lost at home. Now they're on the road in South Florida. The roads where they've had their problems. South Florida's a 13.5-point favorite. Can UTSA pull off the upset? Next one, we got. There's 2 games on this list that I look at them for me that are on the list here. I think could be absolutely hilarious for upsets. First one, Northwestern at USC. USC's on the road in Southern Cal. You're a 14.5-point favorite. Northwestern needs one more win to be bowl eligible. How absolutely hilarious would it be? Northwestern goes all the way from outside of Chicago to sunny Southern California, plays USC, beats them, gets their becomes bowl eligible, and eliminates USC from CFP contention at the same time. Now, they're 14.5-point underdogs. I don't think it's going to happen, but how hilarious would it be if it did? Oh boy. Another game here with G5 implications, I should say. Tulane at Memphis. Neither one of these teams really afford a loss. Tulane especially. They have a backdoor chance. They might be able to get in if things go their way. They lose this game, they're out. So they want any shot. They have to win this game. But they're on the road at Memphis, who has had some great wins this year, except for the upset loss to UAB. Memphis is only a 4.5-point home favorite. So this is going to be a dogfight game. We'll see. This is going to be a damn good one. Indiana at Penn State. If you look at this beginning of the year, this was going to be a top 5, top 10 matchup of the season. Now it definitely hasn't. Drew Aller's out for the year. Penn State's it's just not been a good time in Happy Valley. And Indiana has been an absolute buzzsaw, wreaking havoc with everybody. The question is simply in this game. Indiana's a 14.5-point favorite on the road in Happy Valley. When was the last time that happened? That Indiana was a double-digit favorite on the road at Penn State. I don't think it's ever happened, has it? So does Indiana keep buzzsawing like they've been doing, and just buzzsaw Penn State too, or can Penn State pull off a huge upset? Well, I'm laughing. Imagine this being 3 years ago and saying this. Can Penn State pull off a huge upset at home and beat Indiana? What a hell of a world we live in. All right. Next one, we got Georgia at Mississippi State. Georgia is technically on the outside looking in of the SEC championship race. It's A&M and Alabama ahead of them. They can't afford another loss. Now, their schedule, they got 4 games left, but they only got 2 SEC games left. Their last 2 games are non-con. So when everybody else is going to be in the dogfight, the last 2 weeks, they're on cruise control. Although that last game of the year against Georgia Tech in Atlanta is looking a hell of a lot more dangerous. I mean, they took them to several overtimes last year. This Georgia Tech team means business. This is going to be one incredible game this year. But, let's say Georgia can't afford the loss. Mississippi State has at home with the cowbell, and their one went away from being bowl eligible. If Mississippi State wins this, it throws. Oh boy, would this be something crazy? Mississippi State pulled off that upset. Let's talk about James Madison at Marshall. By the way, I forgot to mention something. Georgia's on the road at Mississippi State. They're only an 8-point road favorite. Just 8. It's not. They still think Mississippi State can pull a chance off. The bettors do. James Madison at Marshall. Another game with CFP implications for that 5th playoff spot for conferences. James Madison been doing a great job in the Sun Belt. Marshall, considering what they lost, they're 4-4 on the year. So all things considered, that's not bad considering what they lost. James Madison's a 13.5-point road favorite. Can Marshall pull off one incredibly big home upset and really screw up James Madison's chance at the CFP? Really knock a dent into it. All right. We'll see about that one. This is the game I think for me is just funny. If you would have put up this game happening in college football, okay, it's scheduling. It happens. It's scheduling. It happens. The records of both schools would throw you for a damn loop. There's actually 2 of these games on the schedule this week. This one is there's 2 games that have you asking if you're in the Twilight Zone. No, I'm dating myself and I don't give a damn. Duke at UConn. A basketball powerhouse game, but this is in football. Duke is 5-3. All right. UConn's at home in Stores. 6-3. Yeah. 9 games into the season, UConn's already bowl eligible. You think Jim Moore isn't pulling off some miraculous work there? Jim, they keep doing this. Big 12 ACC might have to add UConn if they keep winning. But they still got to do something about that stadium. But, damn. Unless they can convince somehow to go down the road in New England and play in the Patriots or something. They'll figure something out. Anyway. 5-3 Duke at 6-3 UConn. Twilight Zone moment, maybe? For me, it was just crazy here. Wake Forest at Virginia. If you've been watching college football, watching Virginia, they've been playing with fire. There's a lot of games that they barely won. They beat Washington State by a safety. We're out yardage-wise. They're not beating anybody. No wide margin. They are barely scraping by. A lot of close games. You're playing with fire. Sooner or later, you're going to get burned. They're at home against Wake. Now, they really haven't been playing winning teams. Some of these games they've been playing like Wake Forest is 5-3. They're 1 win away from being bowl eligible themselves. Wake's on the road. Wake doesn't really do well on the road. Virginia is a 6.5-point home favorite. Not huge because nobody knows. The bettors don't know what the hell to think of Virginia. See, Virginia's 6.5-point favorite, not West Virginia. Virginia's a 6.5-point home favorite. What's going to happen here? I mean, this is as simply as, can Wake pull off the road upset, or is Virginia going to somehow keep surviving? That's a big question here. And the living in your past, relying on your reputation, what the blue hell happened to you bowl. Florida State at Clemson. Florida State is 4-4. Clemson's 3-5. Is this the? You can say whatever you want about Florida State's having its problems, and Clemson's having its problems, whatever. You have talented rosters and everything else. Is this the loser gets their head coach fired bowl? Between Norvell and Dabo Swinney? If Clemson isn't bowl eligible, they lose to FSU, and they don't. That means they're 3-6. They'd have to win out to be bowl eligible, including beating South Carolina, who's not the same South Carolina as old, but that school's always giving Clemson problems. That's the second Twilight Zone game going. What the hell? LSU at Alabama. The first games for LSU since they fired Brian Kelly. How will they react? We've seen a lot of these games where the team fires the head coach and and they play well the first game. I'm not talking about the first. Oh yeah, you're going to have a great first game on the road. You're not at home. You're on the road in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. Straight out of the frying pan into the fire. Damn. Will Alabama overlook LSU? You know, if this had been Nick Saban Alabama, sure as hell wouldn't happen. But this is Kalen DeBoer. Will Alabama overlook LSU? Will LSU pull off a humongous upset? Now, they're not a losing program per se. They got 3 losses on the year. But this would be a big upset. They beat Alabama. I mean, Bama's a 9.5-point home favorite. Not huge numbers, but still. Could they pull it off? And then we have our 4 picks left. But the game that might make me literally laugh my big ass off. For what it would mean. 2 things. One makes me laugh off the bat. Navy at Notre Dame. How long have these two been playing each other? 100 years? First off, how weird is it the fact that Navy has a better record than Notre Dame? Navy's 7-1, Notre Dame 6-2. Doesn't happen that often. So somebody asked me, what would be the funniest moment I could possibly imagine happening in college football? What would be the funniest thing this season? The absolute drop, the most hilarious thing in college football. What would it be? Navy is a 25.5-point dog to Notre Dame in South Bend. Navy goes on the road and beats Notre Dame. Biggest upset of the year, I think. Biggest upset of the year, by far. You not only pull off that huge win, but you eliminate Notre Dame from college football playoff contention. I might pass out from lack of oxygen from laughing too damn hard. Is this going to happen? Probably not. Very strong, 99.9% chance. But then again, I saw Northern Illinois go into South Bend and beat them. So nothing's impossible. Can they pull off this win? I don't know. But it's going to be damn interesting if they can. Ooh, boy. Like I said, Notre Dame, that'd be the ultimate what the blue hell, wouldn't it? Notre Dame, you lose to Navy and you're out of the CFP. That'd be the ultimate what the blue hell, wouldn't it? Don't think it's going to happen, but wow. All right, to the 4 games. Your 4 picks. The 4 games you have me to make picks on. Well, that's 4. Normally it's 3. I do polls, 4 games each, 2 polls. The same polls are on X and on YouTube. Whoever gets the most votes between both sets of polls gets in. But we had a tie for 3rd place. So it's 4 polls this week. 4 polls. 4 games this week. We're starting off with, I think, forget what the hell, whatever kickoff show thinks is. I think the game of the week. BYU, undefeated BYU at Texas Tech. With their 1 loss on the year. 2 top 10 programs. This game has college football playoff implications. It has Big 12 championship implications. This is going to be a fight. And Bear Bachmeier has played out of his mind well as a freshman for BYU. And Texas Tech, hey, they bought a roster. They're a damn good program. They got it done. Can BYU go on the road and beat Texas Tech? Are they capable of it? Yes. Will they? I don't think so. I'm going to pick, actually, in Texas Tech as a 9.5-point favorite. That is the one thing on this game I am really leery about. That's why I'm going to take BYU in the points. I think Texas Tech is going to win. I just don't think it's going to be by 9.5. I think it's going to be a 7-point game, or it's going to be possibly even overtime. 9.5, it's just too rich for my blood. BYU has been underestimated all year when it comes to spreads, and they've been outperforming them. So I got to take BYU in the points in this game. I think Texas Tech will win. BYU can outright win, but Texas Tech by 10? I don't see it. All right. Texas A&M at Missouri. A&M undefeated. Missouri got 2 losses. A&M's a 6.5-point road favorite. This is another top 25 matchup. A&M can't afford to lose this game. Because they lose this game, it hurts them in the SEC. It may necessarily hurt them in the CFP, but it's going to hurt them in the SEC race, because if Georgia doesn't lose anymore, then, it starts getting the things there. The simple fact of the matter is Missouri at home is dangerous. Make no mistake about it. Eli Drinkwitz have that team coached up. Missouri at home is dangerous. Can A&M go on the road and pull it off? I think they can. And in fact, I'm so confident that I'm going to take A&M and lay the 6.5 because I think they're going to beat. And they think they're going to cover the spread against Missouri. That was one of the two games that was tied. BYU and Texas Tech had the most votes in the poll. Third place was A&M Missouri, and the other game was 7-1 Oregon on the road at 6-2 Iowa. Oregon is a 6-point road favorite. It's another top 25 matchup. Iowa just got in the poll. It took you long enough to figure that out. And a game that has a lot of implications in the Big Ten championship because Oregon right now is on the outside looking in, as is Iowa. Neither one of them for any remote shot at the Big Ten championship can't afford a loss here. Iowa really can't afford one, and they're at home. Oregon can't afford the loss because it basically will push them out behind Ohio State and Indiana. The simple question is, Oregon's team, who Indiana physically pushed around, can they dominate the Iowa defense at home? I don't think they can. Give me Iowa and the minus. I give Iowa +6. I think if Oregon does win, it's going to be a 3-vote game, and I think Iowa can outright win this game and beat Oregon. And second on the voting list, this might be one of the few times they're actually on this list. San Diego State, 7-1 San Diego State at 6-3 Hawaii. Said this 3 years ago and people would have laughed at you with these things. San Diego State, Hawaii 6-3, San Diego State 7-1. Are you out of your mind? What are you smoking? Any of it laughed? You know, Hawaii has played incredible. I had them in my prediction video. I think I had them going 7-5 on the year. So they're ahead of pace right now. San Diego State is well ahead of where I thought they would be. And the fact is, for San Diego State fans, those who are watching this isn't optimal form. It's going to take next season and maybe the season after that to get fully changed over to where he wants to be and make the initial adjustments. It's going to be at least one more year. They're going to need one more year to get the roster right. One more year. So it's getting there. And the reason they're getting there is not because of the Aztec fast offense. It's one incredible defense who is beating people up. Very underrated defense. And they're doing an incredible job here. In San Diego State, even though they're traveling across to Hawaii, which screws up your body clock because it's another time zone. Even for a West Coast team, it screws a lot of things up. This is the same Hawaii team that beat Stanford, folks. They're not a slouch. Both teams bowl eligible. Hawaii is 6.5-point favorite on the road. The question out there is, Hawaii's defense does give up points. San Diego State's offense isn't that great. It balances out. The simple fact of the matter is this simple question. Can Hawaii score enough points against this San Diego State defense to match San Diego State's offense? I don't think they can. Even though this is on the road, give me San Diego State and I'm laying the 6.5. Because I just don't see it. I don't. Could Hawaii pull it off? Absolutely. They're at home. There's been some magic happening there for the Rainbow Warriors. But this game, I don't know. We're going to find out about this one late. So I've done enough talking about this. Why don't you let me know what you think about everything down in the comments. So again, thanks everybody for watching. I've already done all the intro stuff at the beginning of the video. Really appreciate everybody who does watch the videos. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Again, I'm going to go over my picks real fast, and then you tell me about everything down in the comments. I got BYU plus 9.5 on the road at Texas Tech. I've got Texas A&M minus 6.5 on the road at Missouri. I've got Iowa plus 6 at home against Oregon. And I've got San Diego State minus 6.5 on the road at Hawaii. Let me know what you think about everything, these picks and everything else, and any other games down in the comments. I really would appreciate it. So thanks everybody for watching. Looks kind of pretty here, doesn't it, a little bit? Would you believe I'm in Alabama? I'm in Alabama right now. Heading to Tennessee for the next days on here, and we're just going to keep on going. Another realignment video, like I said, coming up Friday. It's not an ACC snowball video. We're gonna take a break from that, but there's a lot of other realignment stuff going on. I like to try to do with the stuff going on. There's a lot of realignment news that I've been hearing about. You know, a little rumor here and there, one spot, little things that don't mean nothing. But gradually, I'm starting to get more. The one in here is actually going to ask you a question, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. So thanks everybody for watching. Everybody's having a great day. Be safe and please be good to each other.